Austin music scene is pretty awesome. Like I've been very fortunate. I found quite a bit of work here. There have been a lot of places. There's a lot of venues in town, and I know a lot of people say a lot of venues have disappeared, but it seems like some new stuff has popped up in those places. And so I've had the pleasure to work with James Polk and Centerpiece for a few years now. I've been working with Pamela Hart for a few years as well. But then I'm also doing the things that we all got to do. I'm working with 2 corporate cover bands, the Royal Dukes, and I'm working with a group called Shakedown. Other than that, I just recently started working with Joseph Serrato on this kind of smooth jazz R&B theme, and that's turning out to be quite an interesting project, and a guy named LJ Gomez, which is kind of like a pop gig with a little Latino flavor to it. So I stay busy, and I'm happy to stay busy, and the Austin music scene has been really good to me, so I have no complaints. And if anybody wants to come check it out, man, I suggest that you come even during South by or ACL, and you'll see the flavor of what the city has to offer, and it's many different shades. So yeah, come check it out.
I could start with the cons. I mean, that's pretty blatantly obvious, you know. It's hard to make money around here just playing music in venues. A lot of these venues expect you to just, you know, play for drinks, or they expect you to charge at the door. So that's kind of a bummer, but the good thing about it is, you know, they're willing to give a lot of no names a chance, you know, to kind of develop themselves, and that's really helped me, especially because, you know, I don't consider myself a heavy hitter around here, so, you know, just getting the opportunity to kind of like develop my own groups and just kind of throw it out there and see what happens, you know, it's been good in that regard. So that's a plus for the music scene around here in Austin. And then, you know, it's opened some doors for me, and I've gotten to learn how things work around here, and I've networked with some people that own clubs or venues, or do booking here, do booking there, or promote these bands, and meeting other bands. It's just kind of snowballing, you know. So it's unfortunate that you have to start out free, but, you know, I think your talent will allow you to get to where you're trying to get.
Well, the pros are how many great players there are, you know. It's a small group in the jazz community, you know a bunch of people, but at the same time, there's, you know, you run into somebody and you know that they're going to be a good player. There's just so many good players around town. And the other cool thing is the University of Texas, right? Because you have a continual pipeline, right? You have cats who come in to do their master's or their doctorate. Marcus was like that. And then you benefit from the experience of playing with them while they're here. And then they pick up, you know, they benefit from the scene as well. So that's pretty cool. I think that a lot of players, just by the need to make a living playing music in Austin, end up with a wide variety of gigs, and they'll come in, and if you have arrangements, a lot of times it's the first or second time that you've played it. And there aren't that many avenues to build a residency or to play original music and really get experience and rehearsals and get everything up. So in that fashion, I think that what we're doing is a great thing to add to the scene.
Always seemed really solid. The jazz scene was a little small, but everyone's tight-knit. It seems like everybody really knew each other. I mean, if you go to the jam session twice or maybe 3 times, you're probably going to meet most of the scene. Now, small scene, incredibly good scene, lots of strong players. But, you know, it seemed pretty solid. There was enough gigs to go around, so you never felt like you were just getting shafted on work or anything. Pay could have been better. Anyway, I split from Austin in 2015 and went to California, and mainly my deal there was I'd been a musician in Austin and I loved that, but I was looking to do some teaching and I thought there'd be more opportunities in California. So I went out there, ended up teaching at a couple of colleges, Mount San Antonio College, Mount San Jacinto College, got a high school thing I'm doing too, Vista Marietta High School, and not doing as much playing as I'd like to, but I did just recently start back up a Sunday residency at this restaurant bar called the Gastro Pub out in Lake Elsinore, playing with this bass player from San Diego named Dante Fire.
Yeah, Austin's a beautiful place. It's my home. It's been really good to me. You know, there seems to be enough work going around for everybody, all the bass players at least. It's real tight-knit, particularly the jazz community is very tight-knit. Just about everybody knows everybody. Everybody's played together in some form or fashion. I love it here.
All right. Do you have any cons about the music scene or about Austin
Yeah, well, it's so saturated with musicians that the clubs sometimes don't pay what they should be paying. And, you know, I mean, that's just the way it goes with a bigger city. People don't want to pay. There's so many people that are willing to play for free. And they call it the live musical capital of the world, the live music capital of the world. So you have, I mean, you can have a gig just about anywhere. I guess that's more of a pro, but
Not a lot of
yeah,
cons.
not too many cons. It really is a special place.
Well, let me get myself together for this one. My perception of the Austin music community, it could be better, a whole lot better, as far as compensation. It's just like, you know, the city, all these taxes and the buildings and everything's growing, but the music scene's not growing. It's just like at a standstill. You know, it seems like most people are, and there's nothing wrong with traveling and going on tour, but it's a lot of musicians here are struggling. You know, a lot of the musicians here are almost homeless. Like, I've been homeless since I've been living here. I've lived in my van. I was staying at Walmart on Palmer and Lamar, taking showers at 24 Hour Fitness, crashing at different people's couches and stuff. And I'm like, I didn't have to go through that in Kansas City because it paid decent. You know, we had a standard of pay around town. We didn't have ham. And like I told a lady in ham, I said, ma'am, if we got paid better, we wouldn't need ham because we would be able to afford our own health insurance, you know. There are some good venues here. You just got to know where to go. You got to know who to contact, and you got to know who to perform with. It's all about who you know. Austin is. But Austin is a good city. It is very accepting to all types of different music. That's another thing that I like about certain groups in Austin, like Miss Hart. They business is on point. Always pay you on time, pay you night at the gig. Everything's very detail-oriented, rehearsals, emails. You know, that's what we like. That's where I come from. And it's kind of hard to deal with that with other people that don't do that, you know.
Well, first of all, I love the Austin community because it loves me. I came here and started gigging in '91. James Polk and the singers, they were all very accepting. They showed me what to do in order to get started as an independent musician. And I've created Women in Jazz because we needed a niche for more women leading music in the Austin music scene, because that's a place where music is lacking for women.
Can you tell us what Women in Jazz is?
So Women in Jazz is a nonprofit organization, and it was formed with the goal of increasing the presence of women learning jazz, playing jazz, being presented with jazz in the Austin scene, because I saw that there was no place for women here. And it also allows us to teach younger people to appreciate jazz, the Austin community to appreciate jazz. So it is the vehicle we use to keep jazz alive. The Women in Jazz project started actually in 1982. And Heartbeat Productions Women in Jazz is the nonprofit. Heartbeat Productions is the for-profit company that Kevin Hart and I have really for music production. First, Pamela Hart and presenting her, and then Kevin Hart with his sound engineering, and then whoever else we might produce. So Women in Jazz is a nonprofit, but Heartbeat Productions is the producer for the music that we do around Austin and the United States. The Austin community itself endorses music. They set aside funds. I get funding from the city of Austin for my Women in Jazz project. So it's really a good place to nurture your musicianship because everybody is so helpful. In terms of a gigging musician, though, I think it could do better in terms of the jazz scene. I mean, I did South by Southwest several years. I stopped doing it because there's really no emphasis on jazz music, and it's just a passion of mine, keeping jazz alive, and everything's about, and I understand that, the young bands and rock and, the independent side of music, which is great. But don't cater to the jazz scene just for that 1 week as if it's gone on for a long time. And I've created Women in Jazz because we needed a niche for more women leading music in the Austin music scene, because that's a place where music is lacking for women.